Hello everyone, welcome to your Tutors AM, and in this video we're going to be looking at the SINE rule, particularly how to derive the SINE rule and maybe a few applications of it. So let's say we have got a triangle. Let's say we have a triangle. Let me just reposition this. Let's say we've got a triangle. Let's say we've got this triangle. Let's say we've got this triangle. It's taking some time to draw. It's taking some time to draw. Yeah, I'm sure this will do. Let's say we have got this triangle. So let's say this is triangle A B C. So let's say this is triangle ABC. And then now, how do we come up with the SINE rule? I'm sure we can quote the SINE rule, but this is just a memory aid to how they come up with the SINE rule. So what you have to know is that this you have to make it in form of a right angle triangle. So for you to do that, we just put dotted lines going to the bottom. Yeah, and then once we do that, we know that here we'll have a 90-degree here. So what you, and then let's say this is H, and then what you have to understand is that this is A, so implying that this will be small letter A. This is C, so that will be C. This is B, that will be B. That will be B. That's ironic. Now let's say we want to know what can we do in terms of H. So if you have done trigonometry in the past, you know that your H can be represented as H is H over C, H over C. Let's put, let me just put an angle. Let me just put an angle here. Yeah. So we know that we can represent that as H over C. Oh, let me use white. We know that we can represent this as H over C. Oh, let me put as H over C is equal to sine A. So what we mean is that this H, and then when we put it over C, can give us the sine of the angle A, which is just the opposite side. So in short, our H can be equal to C sine A. To C sine A. So we can put it in terms of that. Now, how about representing our H in terms of the other angle that we have this side? How can we represent our H? So we can obviously say H over A is equal to sine C. So here we have our H over A is equal to sine C. So we know that therefore our H can be equal to A sine C. A sine C. So we know that our H, so what we basically need is just, let me use a different color. What we know, these two are our main focus points. So let's focus on this. And then since we know that C sine A and A sine C are equal, we can just write them we can just write them. We can just quote them. So we can say sine. So we can say, because we know, let me just show it, that C sine, that C sine A is equal to A sine C. Now, since these two are equal, we can just represent it as sine A over A, as sine A over A. This sign goes, the A divides this sine A, so you can show it as sine capital letter A over A. And then this is obviously equal to C, to sine C, sorry, to sine of C over C. Now, notice that we can reciprocate this and have A over sine A is equivalent to C over sine C. Then, hence, we have our sine rule. So this right here. So this right here, let me just show an arrow representing that, then I can have this gray. So we know that that there is our sine, is our sine rule. So how do we use sine rule? And notice, what you can notice from here is that sine A, that A over sine A can be equal to B over sine B, which is equal to C over sine C. That's what you can represent our sine as. So if you want, you can represent it as A over sine A is equal to B over sine B, which is equal to C over sine C. So now that is our sine rule. So when can we use our sine rule? To find angles, if one angle and the two sides non-adjacent are given, or to find the side if two angles and one side are given. So what does this mean? So let's go over one question requiring, let's go over one question. If no, if time will allow, we'll do two, because I don't like the videos being very long. I don't want to consume much of your time. So let's say we have a triangle, and then let's say it bends, it's bended here, and then this comes aside, this moves somewhere here, this comes like this. Yeah, so let's say we have this triangle, and then let's say this triangle is Y, or let me just use my other colors to represent. Let's say this triangle is Y, and then here we have Z, and then we have X. So here, if we have got capital letter Z, here we have a small letter Z, and then here Y, we obviously have a small y, but here we've been given 11 centimeters, and then we have also been given an angle here, 95, we have also been given an angle here 40. Now let's say we want to find z. How can we solve and find for our angle z? So if I want to solve for z, what I can simply say following the sine rule is z over, I we know this is the opposite to z, which is sine 40, so we can say z over sine 40 over sine 40 is equal to these two opposite sides, 1195, 11 over sine 95, sine 95. So we know that when solving for z, here we multiply, so we basically have z is equivalent to 11 sine 40, 11 sine 40 divided by sine 90, because when we cross multiply and then divide, we will have to divide both sides, and then this will be over sine 95, sorry, yeah, sine 95. So what do we get when we divide? We end up finding our value of z, giving us a 7.09, 7.09, or you can just write 7.10. So this is how we solve questions using the sine rule. But let's just try another one. Let's just try another one to get much more familiar with the concepts. Let me get back my rule. Let's say we have got another triangle. Let's say we've got another triangle, and then it's got a slope, a very large slope. And then let's say at this part it was, and then a little bit downwards. I'm just going to include that with freehand. Okay, yeah, let's say this is our triangle, though it's not perfect. Let's say here we have got PQR. We have got an angle PQR. So let's say here we've got our P, we've got our Q here, we've got our R. So we know that obviously opposite here is also R. There we also, but here we've been given a figure 40 centimeters, 40 centimeters, and then we've been given an angle 47.4. We've been given an interior angle 47.4, and then we've also been given this angle 48. Now let's say they want us to find R. So we know that R over sine 48, because we get the two, in the corner. This one, that one, that one, that one. I'm sure that's just like a pattern to remember. And then here we have over 40 centimeters, and then this 40 centimeters is being divided by sine 47.4, sine 47.4, which is this one, because they are opposite. So we get this and then that, but we have to start with what we're solving for, which is R. So we know that our r will be equal to 40 sine, we know that it will be equal to 40 sine 48 when we multiply the two over sine, over this sine, which is sine 47.4, 47.4. Yeah, so hence our value of r will be 40, will be 40.38 centimeters, 38 centimeters. So this has been basically the SINE rule, explained with some examples, but it's very basic, I should say. It's not too complicated to to a certain point, but yeah, this is how we basically go about it when solving when solving trigonometrical problems given sine. So this has been your tutor ZM. Please like the Facebook page in the description below. If you have got any questions, you can WhatsApp the number in the description. Share the videos with friends, subscribe, like, and I would like to give a shout out to Israel Siwale, who helped create the advertisement video for the channel. That is basically it. Thank you very much.